ezweni bangibeka mabala, you bangibeka mabala, ezweni bangibeka mabala, yey bangibeka mabala, ezweni bangibeka mabala, yo bangibeka mabala, ezweni bangibeka mabala, yo bangibeka mabala, ezweni bangibeka mabala. Thokozani Royals, Hotep, please tap the screen. Let me know you can hear me. Let me know you can hear me. That way we get it up in the algorithm and we can have a conversation. Kunyata, kubima, buphilo bubima, rimo matateng. Please tap that screen. Let's get talking. Oh. Yo bangibeka mabala, ezweni bangibeka mabala, you bangibeka mabala, ezweni bangibeka mabala, ye bangibeka mabala, ezweni bangibeka mabala, you bangibeka mabala, ezweni bangibeka mabala, ye bangibeka mabala, ezweni bangibeka mabala, ye bangibeka mabala, ezweni bangibeka mabala. Thokozani Royals, how is everyone doing this evening or early morning? Thokoza Kehla, Master Manifestar. I love that name. Thokozani, Chamakwini, Lesedi Khanya, Tovela, Nangadef, Muribwanji, Kwaziwai, Dumelang, Habarigani. How is everyone doing this evening or this morning? I know that my African family is waking up. Some of you don't sleep. Who has been having a hard time sleeping? And I can explain to you why you may have had a hard time sleeping these last couple of days. If you have been anything like me, we, on the 23rd, we had what is called the Black Moon. The Black Moon, and a portal opened, a new portal opened, and Epitoli, it's morning, siyabonga. And a lot of people were feeling some type of way, including myself. So that is why I did not show up. Bella Oshun, greetings. How are you, child of Oshun, daughter of Oshun? I was having a very hard time sleeping. But then, in the midst of me having a hard time sleeping, I came across some revelations that were pretty sobering. If you have been on my TikTok the last couple of days, or even, actually this was done early this morning because I could not sleep after what I discovered. And it goes back to the things that we have been talking about as we come together. So many of you may have heard about what is happening in Africa and the issue with South African influencers who have been partnering with some, I'll call it some Russian company or some Russian entity, which was basically using them to recruit young women between the ages of 18 to 22 to go to Russia under the guise of some learnership, some studying, something to create or up their career. It's been really, really, really harrowing to observe, first and foremost, the number of influencers that were actually involved in this scam, which is now under investigation by the South African government because it looks to be a human trafficking type situation. Now, one of the things that had me, and let me give you just a little bit of backstory. When I first came across a video by one of these influencers, and immediately when I heard young African women between the ages of 18 to 22, my stomach knotted up. Immediately I knew that something was off. I didn't go ahead and listen to the rest of it, but and at the time I just thought to myself, oh my gosh, there goes another one. But then, you know how this algorithm is, right? Once you watch one video, videos with the same kind of content or message or information starts coming through. Lo and behold, there's a couple that comes in. This couple is also talking about the same thing. Lo and behold, another of these so-called influencers come in. Now, mind you, I don't really follow. I'm following them now because I want to see where this all ends. But these were not people I was following before. I know the names because they're kind of household names in South Africa, these influencers. So the question you ask is, what is their claim to fame? Most of them. Most of them have huge followings on social media platforms. When I say huge, I'm talking 500,000 plus followers on social media. Most of them are content creators that is geared around lifestyle. A lot of it is around fashion, a lot of it, and so they get a lot of brand collaborations. So I'd say it's content creators on, for lack of a better term, on the lighter side, right? They're not somebody like me who comes here to create spiritual content or educational content. So this is how they grow their following, and their demographic, usually the people who are following them, are people probably majority between the ages of, I would say, even 15 or younger, maybe to about 35. If they are adults who follow them, they're probably doing it because, you know, we have infantile adults, I'm sorry to have to say, but it is what it is, right? So and they're called influencers because they actually influence culture. You'll find that a lot of young women who are following them are young women who aspire to the lifestyle that these influencers sell them. And I'll say a lifestyle they sell them because some of the images that you see, and this is why I don't like Instagram, because some of the images you see on Instagram, most of us already know that they're influencers who go to places, who go to car dealerships, and who will test drive a car and get pictures taken with that car and post it. And so young women are under the impression that these are young women like themselves who have made it. Do you understand? So they are being sold images, they are being sold videos of a certain lifestyle, which is really and truly all an illusion. Come to find out that a lot of these influencers may live a certain lifestyle, but it turns out that they're doing some pretty bogus things in order to be able to sustain the lifestyle. I mean, these are influencers who have no problem talking about how they get like 50,000 a month girlfriend allowance. So now you have all these young women who, without proper guidance, who literally, guys, there are no elders in our community. Unfortunately, there are so few elders in our community. And so this influencer space is a space where young women are literally looking for role models. They are looking for who to aspire to be like. And it's certainly not people like me. It's certainly not other elders, because we don't come with a message of affluence. We don't come with a flashy appearance. We're not selling them a lifestyle. We're not enticing them with goodies. We're not out in the clubs doing stuff that, you know, young people associate with what they might call the kind of lifestyle they want to live. Do you understand? So trust and believe. This Russian firm or community or whatever entity it is, or it's not, I won't even call it a school. They know this. That is why they approached a certain type of influencer to be able to put this message out, because their target market, they know that these influencers, they have them eating out of their palms. So fast forward, and apparently this whole thing started in February. This is when the first videos came out. I didn't see it. Now imagine that since February till now, where they're doing a second round of videos, some of them, imagine how many kids, and remember, what this package offers is your visa is taken care of, passport is taken care of. Apparently you get 12,000 Rand a month. You get a place to live. And this message is going out to young women, some of whom have finished high school, didn't have prospects of going to university. Some of whom went to university are sitting at home jobless. Again, do you see how the setup is? What hurts me the most about all of this is that the African continent is impoverished. It is not poor. And thanks to lousy leadership, because it is based on a system that was created for palm-colored creatures to continue looting us. Therefore, this system is useless to us. People wonder why the system doesn't work on the continent. I've said it 100 million times. You cannot take the system that was created for you by your colonizer and expect that you will slot yourself in that system and somehow make it work for you. I don't know what's so difficult about understanding that part. Therefore, because of the mess and the impoverishment that exists within that system, people ask, why are the leaders so corrupt? The leaders are so corrupt because they went into a corrupt system that was created by corrupt beings. Why is this so surprising? How you can't take something that is crooked and bent and slot yourself in it and tell yourself that I'm going to straighten it. If it was created bent, it's bent. If it was created crooked, it's crooked. Therefore, no matter who you put within that system, I keep seeing people saying, no, now we need to vote this one out and vote this one in. Guess what? Mark my words. Save this video, because one day, if you do that in the next so-called election, we will be back here crying about that particular party which you voted in, because they won't be able to deliver for you that which you think they should be delivering. The system will never work on the African continent. Finish and clear. So here is an impoverished Africa where the demographic is Africa has the largest population of young people in the whole world. These young people are finishing school and there's no prospect of anything. Most of them aren't even being taught entrepreneurial skills or technical skills or skills to use their hands so that they can create businesses for themselves. Even if they wanted to, there is no incentive because government is not providing them small business loans for them to get started. Something that any functional, and it can't because of the way this system works. This system it was created to create slaves, guys. It was created to generate slaves to work in corporations and in manufacturing for the colonizer. There's been no real reform within the system to accommodate proper entrepreneurship. In order for a young person to start a business, they need a small business loan to be able to start. That's not happening. Not because there are no resources, but there are no resources allocated for that. And resources are being squandered. We know there's a lot of corruption. As I said, it's a corrupt system. African governments don't care about the people. So here, this is where the West or palm-colored creatures got us good. In the chaos, in the hunger, in the impoverishment that exists, young people are up to here. In comes the colonizer, the palm-colored creature who created this problem in the first place with a solution. And what is the solution? The solution is let's trap them, let's get them out, let's get them to a place where they're isolated and anything can happen to them. If it's trafficking, those young women are probably going to end up either. One of the things I saw is that apparently they were being recruited to work in drone assembly, and the chemicals or whatever it is they were using to assemble these drones would ultimately affect fertility. There we go. They're killing two birds with one stone. They don't want Africa's population to grow. That's why now Bill Gates has come out with an 8-year contraceptive injection. And Kenya, the Kenyan government has gladly said, sure, come and try it out in our country. Thankfully, Indlovukazi from Namibia has said no. She said, African women are not guinea pigs. Take your vaccine and take it elsewhere. Take your contraceptive. Imagine 8-year contraceptive on a continent that is not overpopulated. Don't be fooled. Africa feels like it's overpopulated because they have people living in these concentration camps, people living in these townships like sardines on top of the other. And then they'll tell you that you're overpopulated and you all will believe it because you live perhaps in those spaces and you're like, yeah, there's too many people. That's a common lie that the West has told every developing country in the world, that you're overpopulated. We need population control. We used to study this in demographics when we did geography. Overpopulation is a problem. We don't have that problem. But they wanted to brainwash us into believing we're overpopulated. So when they bring eugenics, when they bring methods in which to slow our growth as a continent, we would accept. This is where the whole contraceptive thing comes in. So now these young women will go there. They come back. If they ever come back, their fertility is compromised. That's if the story that they're going to work in drone factories is true. My spirit told me that this was another trafficking where these young women would be treated the same way Kenyan and Ugandan women were treated in Dubai, were treated in Saudi Arabia. When they were told they were coming to work as maids, taking care of people, they ended up in these rings of I'll call them rings, abuse rings, if you like, where groups of men would SA them. Groups of men would make them have sex with dogs. Groups like horrific things, and some of them came back in body bags. If there are any Kenyans here, please attest to me. Ugandans here, attest to me. How many young women have come from Dubai or from the Emirates in body bags, where they were beaten? The first thing that happens when they get there is their passports get taken away from them. After that, you're on your own. Sometimes your cell phone gets taken away from you. Can't call home. So when I saw this coming out of Russia, I felt sick because I was like, no, man, not again. Not again. And the thing that hurts the most is they are using, do you see when I talk about when you have a price, you are an enemy to the Black nation. When you have a price, you are an enemy to the Black nation. Obviously, all these influencers were paid. I'm sure they were paid good. And I'm sure they didn't read the fine print. They didn't even care. They just wanted their money. Remember, they're about lifestyle and materialism. And none of them did enough homework to really... Something should have gone ding, ding, ding in their minds the minute they heard young African women ages 18 to 22. Why only young women? Why only young women? Where are the young men? So what are the young men supposed to do? Because they're facing the same challenges as young women when it comes to employment. What were they supposed to do? And why that target age? Why is the age margin so 18 to 22? And apparently what they said was because they pay attention to detail. Come on now. 18 to 22 pay attention to detail. If you'd said maybe 25 to 30, I'd agree with you. 18 to 22 paying attention to detail. I have daughters in that age group. 4 of them. Ain't no paying attention to detail going on this side. Trust and believe. What I heard Spirit tell me was, I just heard energy harvesting. I just heard energy harvesting. Palm-colored creatures are hungry for our energy. They're not getting it in sufficient quantities any longer because many women are waking up and they're pulling their energy back to themselves. They won't go for older women because we're too sensible to fall for that trick. At least most of us are. So they go for the gullible, who they know their parents are stressed out about them sitting at home with nothing to do. Kid comes and says, Mom, look at this opportunity. They look at the paperwork. They don't need to take any money out of their pocket for you. You will go there and you may possibly be able to send money home to assist them. They will sign off and they'll go, my child, with a blessing. And you're sending your children into the mouth, the pit of lions. This thing has really wounded many of us to the core. Especially that it's happening in Women's Month in South Africa. That this is literally been happening. How many young women are out there now? At least we are hearing that the government has gotten involved. Maybe now they'll set up something for these kids to come home. These influencers, some of them went to Russia, toured the place, had an opportunity to speak with the kids. They were supervised, of course. They're busy interviewing. There's one particular young woman who was being interviewed, and her body language, her eyes, she was answering all the correct questions. Are you allowed to call home? Mm-hmm, yes. Are you allowed to go home? Mm-hmm, yes. But her eyes were everywhere. Like you could, this girl was not happy. And you know what? You can crucify me if you want for saying that. She was not happy. I could see it. This is why I say, Black nation, we may be impoverished, but please, please don't sell your soul for some change. Don't sell your people for some change. We talk about sellouts the whole time. These influencers, this is the epitome of sellouts, and it hurts me as a woman. It hurts me as Indlovukazi that Indlovukazi were used and allowed themselves to be used. They were not used blindly. They consented to being used to harm their sisters. That for me is just like, I've not been okay because of that. I really have not been okay. They need to be held accountable, number one. Many of them have come on and they've given apologies. There's one I stitched, the very first one I stitched yesterday. And she's like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I said, well, the one thing you can do is you can now make videos de-campaigning. You can now make videos telling young people not to fall for this scam. The same way that you told young people that they should go, that everything was okay, is the same way you're going to tell these same young people that, no, I take accountability. I advertised a scam. I put you in harm's way. And I'm really hopeful that the government will hold them to account. We are always educating. Thank you, Bella Oshun. We are always educating around this issue of women, you are not safe. Black women, you're not safe. Your kids aren't safe. You are not safe. There's something very special about you that men want, that the colonizer and the enslaver need. If you understood that about yourselves, you take much better care of yourselves. You would remove yourself from spaces where your energy is being harvested. And now look, they are brazen about it. They're not even shy anymore. Let's get us some 18 to 22-year-olds from across the African continent. Why Africa? Why Africa? And these influencers has the nerve to say, oh no, they were Asians, they were others, they were this. I'm like, and what if that was a front that was put there for us? Your ads were specifically targeting young African girls 18 to 22. I don't care about those others. I've told you guys before. I did not come in this incarnation for a time such as this for anyone but for the Black nation. I know my role. That's why I don't swerve left or right. I'm always here because I know what it is I'm here for. If there are others from everywhere, let their people worry about them. I'm worried about my own kids. Because for me, all those young women, they're my children. So these influencers, we need to see videos of you decampaigning this thing. And if you need to give whatever you got back, then that is the right thing to do. For once in your lives, can you do something useful? Can you do something right? We've been warning our daughters about you. We've been telling our children you are no role models to look up to. Y'all come on these social media streets, you do some of the worst things, but this one that you've done, this is the worst of the worst. There are families who are sitting at home right now after it's come out that this whole thing is a scam, whose children are over there. Sisters, daughters, nieces are out there. And nobody knows what's happening with them. Because of you. Because of you. Let this be a lesson to you. Do your research, do your homework before you jump onto campaigns where you put our children in harm's way. You will feel the wrath of the South African people because people aren't playing with you this time round. It may look cute and funny when you guys get into your little scandals about this and little scandals about that, and you guys grow your followings on scandals and trending. But this, you're not growing followings on this. Cholofelo says some of these influencers aren't even remorseful. You know what? South Africa will deal with them. South Africa will deal with them. They must lose their following. They must feel this thing that they've done. And I really hope that they are brought to book for this. Because what they have done, and for the fact that some of them, like you say, don't even show it. I don't think any of them, for me, what I've seen so far is a lot of fear. I haven't seen any remorse. I've seen a lot of fear. Like, shit, what do we do now? That is literally what I'm seeing. Now, you can show fear for yourselves. You're sitting pretty. You're safe. What about the young women who've taken themselves off to Russia because of you? Like now, how are you all sleeping at night? You're sleeping in your cozy bed. There's some young women somewhere out there who probably got a rude awakening on arrival and finding out that what they went for is not what it is. I read somewhere that there was a young Zimbabwean woman who had come back. I think she was rescued by her family and she came back. And some of the things that apparently she had to say about that place, she was like, it's nothing like it's advertised. Imagine the trauma that they're going through away from 18 to 22, away from home in Russia. These very same influencers wouldn't take themselves to Russia to go live there. Why would you think other kids must go? Yazin. This influencer culture. And it's interesting that this is all happening as we have entered the age of Ma'at, not the season, we're in the season of Nut, but the age of Ma'at, where everything that's done in the dark will be brought to light. Everything that is not aligned with truth, balance, harmony, justice, ethics, and morals is going to crumble. Sleep well, rest well, Bella. Rest well. everything is going to crumble. And those who think they're doing things in the dark will be brought to light. And the beautiful thing is there's so many awakened people. You know what? Africans are so sick of being scammed. They're so hurtful with being lied to across the board by anybody who thinks they can get away with it, that when they catch you in a lie, they're not going to let go of you. And so must it be. We are definitely in the age of truth, Patrick. There's like this one I'm deeply invested in. Self. This one I've taken to the altar myself. More so for these young women. More so for these young women who are out there. That they be held in protection. That they be held in the nurturing bosom of Great Mother. That they may be rescued from this. Because they went with good intention. It is these influencers. Yabona nina, you. You're going to learn. At this time round, you're going to learn. It's, and this is the time where, family, it's time to stop with being frivolous. It's time to stop with frivolities. I've been saying this. It's time to stop with the distractions. So many of us want to continue like it's business as usual. It is not business as usual. I've been saying. The enemy is becoming more and more brazen. The enemy is becoming more and more desperate. Last kicks of a dying horse are the most deadly. They're the most dangerous. So it can't be business as usual for the rest of us. It really cannot. Just imagine how many children, how many young women have been siphoned. Imagine if this had not come through, how many more were going to be siphoned off of the continent? South Africa just being one country. There I've spoken about a Zimbabwean girl who was rescued. What do you think the end game is with these palm-colored creatures? And how many times have I said, Bagwantu, we have no friends. The Russians are not our friends. Other palm-colored creatures are not our friends. Arabs are not our friends. Mexicans, those other ones, are not our friends. Listen, we have no friends. When will that finally compute? Meaning to say, anyone outside of Bagwantu who comes to you with a proposal, understand that this is not for your benefit. Ultimately, it will benefit them. They never do anything for us for our benefit. So this thing came under the guise of an opportunity for you to further your career, an opportunity from a palm-colored creature giving you an opportunity to further yourself. For what? Some of our distrust of them is not paranoia, because some people are like, oh, maybe you're a little paranoid. No, I'm not. Eyes wide open. Third eye, bing, 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 wide open. Can't fool me. And we should all be like that. Stop playing naive with these creatures. How many times do they have to gila you? How many times do they have to do you dirty for you to finally accept? And here's the problem, is acceptance. That they are not your friend. None of them are our friends. I go through these social media streets and I'm always sickened when I see Bagwantu flattering and fawning. Why do you feel the need to be liked by these creatures? Why do you feel the need to be accepted by these creatures? Is it because your own self-esteem, your own self-love is in your boots, that you feel like the validation you need is them liking and accepting you? And how's them liking and accepting you going to further your life? How is it going to better your lot? They flatter you with all sorts of things and you guys lap it up. Like, oh my God, a white person finally said I'm beautiful. If you didn't know you were beautiful before that white person came, then I don't know what to say. We need to work on self-love. We need to work on our dignity. Where's your sense of dignity when you go around flattering and fawning palm-colored creatures? Where's your dignity? And because your own self-love is so low, you are easy. You're weak. They can come in and it's so easy for you to partner with them in order to sell your own sisters, 18 to 22-year-old babies. You will influence and tell them, hi guys, there's such a rare opportunity for you to go and a self-hating muntu, a self-hating black person is a danger to our community. Because if they hate self, they hate all of us too. Because when they see us, we are a mirror. We remind them of themselves. They are a danger. Be wary of people like that. They will sell you for a nickel. This is just so, this is really heartbreaking. I actually wanted to come here and teach on Nut today, but I had to speak into this moment. I, of all people, cannot be quiet when something like this is happening. I dare not. I dare not be quiet. Please spread awareness. They are definitely enemies of progress. They are enemies of us. That is why our forefathers used to do away with sellouts. The minute they recognize they smelt a sellout, because we're only as strong as these weak people. As long as we have people like this among us, we are compromised. Please, can we talk to our kids about this constant chase for material things? I'm not saying don't like nice things. I'm not saying don't seek a better life. But at what cost? What lengths are people willing to go to get those material things? And at the end of it all, what does that do for your soul? You live a mediocre, superficial life where you live for these material things, but deep down, you're empty. That's why most people are just drinking, because they don't want to go within. They don't want to go within. So they numb themselves. They numb everything. They numb that emptiness by drinking, by doing drugs, and doing all sorts of other things. So they don't have to deal with that inner void that can only be filled through living a life that is aligned with spirit. Can we train our children? Can we talk to our children, please? In your families, in your gatherings, wherever you are, can you spread this awareness? Because chances are there are people out there who are still excited by this whole thing. I don't know if all the influencers have taken down Jesus doesn't love anyone. That sounds like such a random comment. I don't know where that came from. Catapult. Where did that come from? Are you answering someone? But anyway, family, I just thought I'd come and address this elephant in the room and tell you that this is a worldwide problem that we're experiencing. The other thing I also wanted to talk about, since we're talking about the craziness that's out there is spiritual psychosis. I have tried to explain spiritual psychosis. Spiritual psychosis is when people somehow start to believe that they are something that they are not. For example, currently we have we have a descendant of the Jacobites of Scotland who has set up a kingdom in Scotland called Kubala. He has a queen, and he has now what is called a handmaiden. That's how she calls herself. The handmaiden is not officially a wife, but she renders her services in the bedroom department to the so-called king. I've posted it. 8 months ago, I did a post on spiritual psychosis. What did I say? I said, we're going to see more of it. Voila, here it is. We are going, listen, we are in some, this time is going to be a time, people are losing it. There are people who are opportunists who see this chaos that is happening before things finally settle down. They are using and will use this chaos as an opportunity, number one, to create more confusion, and number two, to try to create some sort of name for themselves. They will weave you a story that you will believe. They're over there frolicking on the Scottish hills. It's a kingdom of three. The king, his queen, and the handmaiden. Guys, I can't take it. I can't take it. I can't take it. I can't take it. No, I'm not talking about the Freemasons. I'm talking about the kingdom of Kubala. Kubala, ilizwe. Guys, I'm trying to be serious, but I keep having images of them on the mountain. It's not even a mountain. One of the Scottish people commented on one of their videos and said, this is not even a mountain. They're just off the highway, just a little bit off the highway. They've just claimed this land. They've set up camp there. They've got tents. And there's a story behind it, obviously. And the story is sinister. And the story goes quite a long way. There used to be a handmaiden. I think she was called Lady Safi or something. Also from the US, who made her way to Scotland. You see what I mean? That we need to feed our children something, family. Because in the absence of spirituality, Christian ain't a working. And if we don't fill the void where Christianity is taken away, there's a void. And this is where the opportunists and the cultists are coming in. Traveled all the way from, this one, I don't know where in the US she was from, but she traveled all the way from the US to Scotland to go and join these two. It was a kingdom of two. She was apparently groomed the same way that you see this one called Asnat. Asnat is groomed. She's brainwashed. You can tell even the way she speaks. You can tell even the way, there's a live I stumbled upon where she was live. And she dares not speak anything without getting approval or a nod from the queen or a prompt from the queen. She was asked a question. What is going to happen to you when your visa expires in November? Are you going back to Texas? Her response was, I'll let the queen answer that. What happened to Lady Safi? Nobody really knows. There's some blog post from the so-called queen where because she blogs a lot, where she wrote about it. But basically, she's no more. So I see a lot of people humor them in terms of saying, we're coming to join. I really hope for your sakes you are not being serious, because that whole thing is a case of spiritual psychosis. Go read up on their history. I've posted some videos on my TikTok of a young lady who's been following them for years and studying the patterns as to how they actually got here. You don't want to get into that mess. There's obviously something going on here. Like I said, spiritual psychosis is real. And if you're not careful, if you don't know who you are, if you don't know where you stand, if your children don't know who they are, if your children don't know where they stand, you can lose them in this time we're in. You self, you can get lost in this time you're in. There's not the time for dilly-dallying and being confused about who you are. It's not the time to be confused about where you stand. I said it. I said this is time of reckoning. And it doesn't help to have one foot here and one foot there and try to create some sort of hybrid of two things that are diametrically opposed. Your religions are diametrically opposed to African spirituality. You cannot mesh the two. One is pure nature. The other is pure bogus bullshit created by some white males or Arabic males or Israeli males. You choose. Nature versus some man-made construct. And all man-made constructs are falling right now. They're all falling apart because they cannot stand the test of time. We all knew a time was coming where this all had to crumble. It's all crumbling. Why? Because it's man-made. What stands the test of time is nature. Can't go wrong with nature. Nature is not made up. It just is. All the other BS is falling. So you get to choose. Do you fall with what's falling? Or do you stand with what is tried and tested by your ancestors? Choice is ours. And man-made, literally male-made, which again tells you there's nothing spiritual in anything male-made because spirituality is the realm of the divine feminine. Physicality is the realm of the masculine. That's just nature. This is why I always say, in order for the masculine to become whole, they need to be paired with a woman who is whole, the divine feminine. Otherwise, on your own, you can't do it. That is why those who are in the spiritual space, who call themselves spiritualists, end up doing nefarious things because that is not their space. They don't fully grasp the sacredness of this. That's why in that space, they try to make money off of people. They are scamming people. They are lying to people. Because it is not by nature their space. So we got to get real so that we can save our children. Like for me, it's the kids that I'm really, really concerned about. I am really concerned about the kids. As you are learning, as you are growing, as you are discovering, please do not leave your children behind. You leave your children behind, someone is happy to take them off of your hands. And you will be held accountable for that. Not just to your ancestors, but you will be held accountable by nature itself because you are the one who was made steward over the lives of these children. You are the one who is supposed to be the guiding agent in the lives of these children. How many of you are actually guiding your kids? Or are your kids busy raising themselves? They're not raising themselves. They're being raised by the streets. And now you see how nasty the streets are. The streets will eat your children. There, your children are being carted off to Russia because they're being raised by the streets. They are watching influencers. Those are the people they look up to. Where are the aunties? Where are the mamkulus, mamnganes? The small mothers, the big mothers? Where are the grandmas? You are losing your children to influencers, many of whom do terrible things, and your children are looking up to that. That is their role models. One day I want to be like so and so, and also get a boyfriend allowance of 50K, and have a rich boyfriend who does everything for me, and drive posh cars. And that's what your children are aspiring to right now, as they are in high school, grade 9 upwards, if not younger, because they all have phones now. They're all on Instagram. Some of them are aspiring from the age of 11. That is who they're looking up to. We all have a big responsibility. Yes, it takes a village to raise a child. Niguphi? Where are you? Rahadis, where are you? This is Women's Month. So I'm putting a call out and a challenge to all the nurturers in the communities. Even on these social media streets, what content are you as an elder putting out that can grow or encourage a young person, that can build a young woman or a young man? We have so many young men out there who are lost because the fathers went AWOL. Why aren't we seeing enough father figures in these TikTok streets? Instead of coming here and screaming at each other, and why aren't you out there putting content out that will grow young men? Because let me tell you something, deep down in every child, there is a yearning for guidance. We are created that way. Children want and need boundaries. Deep down in their spirit, they need and yearn for guidance. They need and yearn for mentorship. I know this from experience. The number of young people who will just call me mommy. They won't even call me Gogo Omkulu. It's mommy. And when I hear that mommy, I know that it's coming from a place of deep yearning for a mommy figure. And they all know that even sometimes when I do videos of content or say things that make them feel uncomfortable, they sense deeply that, no, I needed to hear this. Even some of the people, the young people who come to consult with me, I don't always tell them things they want to hear. Most of the time, things they don't want to hear. They come thinking it's going to go this way, and then it goes that way. And I always say, the gogo who you're going to meet in your consultation is not giggly, funny, he, me, who you're seeing here. Depending on what you are coming for, you can meet with a gogo who will whoop you, because that is what you need at that time. So, family, please, can we look out for each other? Can we look out for one another? Can we look out for our children? Please, it takes a village. And the way we are living now, we didn't put ourselves in these conditions where we don't live in community. We don't live in villages. And it is this lack of community that has us the way we are. It's this lack of community where mothers, especially mothers, are exhausted. Mothers are exhausted because they're taking care of kids all on their own with no help from anybody. But we're all there. We're supposed to be helping each other. So can we do something? Can we not be quiet about important issues? Can we not tell ourselves that this does not concern us when it comes to other people's kids? Because those are our kids. The same way you'll appreciate someone looking out for your kids is the same way a parent will appreciate that, there was this one who said XYZ, or who did this and this and this and helped my kid. Can we be parents to our children, those of us who are parents, please? And when I say our children, I'm talking collectively as our children. Khuzani mhlolo. When you see kids doing the wrong thing, you, as the adult, do the right thing. Don't turn a blind eye and tell yourself, this is not my child, not my concern. It is your concern. It is your concern. For the very fact that ungumuntu, you have this thing that connects us all, whether we like it or not, it is your responsibility and your obligation to do something, to intervene, to say something. And men, many of you want to be upstanding men. I get it. You say you want to be Can you put your money where your mouth is? Can you put your money where your mouth is? When you are out there and you see a young girl getting into trouble, or you see her getting up to no good, use your father's voice. Can you be a father? Can you not objectify her, no matter what she looks like, no matter what she's dressing? Can you see a little girl who needs to be put in line? When you see a young man doing things on the street that you know, like you frown at them, but you keep it, can you not keep it moving? Can you call him to order? And I know many of you will say, oh yeah, these young men are feral. These boys are feral. He'll pull out something and you know, Gwaza you. Can you risk? Can you risk? Because chances are that won't happen. Chances are you will check him to his senses. Because maybe he's never in his life heard a male voice authoritatively telling him, stop it. And yet that is the very thing he needs. That is the very thing his soul is yearning for, because he's spinning out of control and he doesn't quite know how to harness and anchor himself. Can you be that anchor? Can you throw that anchor for that boy? Please. Let's do better, my community. Yes, we came here to talk about the influencers, but do you see how, again, I'm trying to show us that we are all interconnected, even with these silly girls who went around selling their sisters. But at the end of the day, we are all interconnected. And so somehow, somewhere, somehow, we're also all responsible. You see where I'm going with this? That is why my call is, can we do better? And yes, they will be held accountable. I have no doubt about that. Whether it is physical justice they'll get, they will get spiritual justice. See, this thing that they did, this one is big. I have no issues where that is concerned. But let's use this opportunity as an opportunity as a community to rally around each other and really call on our values, call on ma'at, call on who we know ourselves to be, and start to live this thing. The fathers would rather invest their time watching soccer, bragging about expensive alcohol. Yo! Master Manifester, I know the deal. But I'm hoping that somebody hears this. I'm hoping. Gotta try, right? Gotta try. Against all odds. I don't have a choice, like I always tell you. I gotta do what I came here to do. So my family, Black Nation Bawantu. Oh, I love you guys. I love you family so deeply. One love. Until next time. Ne? Next time we will talk about Ma'at. We will talk about Ma'at. Thank you, Rena. Thank you for saying you'll spread the word. Thank you. Let's hold hands and do this, family. Nobody's coming to save us. The rest of the world doesn't care. The rest of the world wants us in chaos so they can continue to exploit us. And we can't rely on government. Forget it. It's us or nobody. Yeah. Let's talk again.